If you can sell this, you can do anything. I firmly believe that, right? This is the hardest, most soul-destroying job I've ever had to do. You know, selling this. Yeah. Right, seriously, some days I'm sat here, man, I'm so bloody depressed by the end of it. It's unbelievable. You know, it's the crap that you take from the public, right, versus not making any money. You know what I mean? And then the abuse you get. You know, and then having to stand out in freezing cold, and I'm here 7 days a week in any weather, raining, snowing, or red hot, or whatever, I'm still here. Yeah. I have to be, because I don't make enough money otherwise.
If you don't buy it, they chase after you, don't they, and then threaten to get a dog on you and that, don't they?
I think it's a recognised brand, isn't it, in the charity world. I think people generally would look upon big issue sellers as being people in need of help who are trying to do something for themselves.
Well, people think they're druggies, alcoholics.
Well, a lot of the guys look like they're feeding a habit or something like that, you know, which they look completely spaced out.
I think that everyone thinks that they are helpful because you always see them like bottom of the very intent of helping everyone, being polite and stuff like that. So, yeah, I don't know. I think they might think that they'll bug you, but no, they don't. Just like really polite. That's about it.
I think most of the people that I know just think they're tramps.
I would say that the public probably think that most of our vendors have some kind of dependency issue. And some do, but not all do.
Well, they see us as rubbish, most people. Right? They won't even look at you, some people. You'll definitely see people walking by, they won't even answer me, or even look at me. Yeah. And then again, you'll get other people that'll stand and talk to me, you know. There's a range of people. The big issue is dying at the moment. It's being destroyed. Beggars and people pretending to be vendors on the night. They're not vendors, they're beggars. That guy makes about 150 quid a day doing that. Yeah. Right, now we as vendors can't make that kind of money, nowhere near. Right, bloody hell, I wish I could. Couldn't even make that a week. Right, but it's because of people like him. You see, when someone's been ripped off by what they perceive as a vendor, then that's it, they'll never buy a magazine ever again. We're going to beg, but don't use our magazine as an excuse, you know, to rip people off. Right, because then people take a complete view of all big issue vendors then. I lived for 3.5 years in a tent. I used to have a different spot every night. So I'm not exactly a trusting person. I'm really paranoid when it comes to my personal safety. I used to have one of them automatic pop-up tents, yeah. Now to me that's technology gone brilliant. Right, I used to have it up and be inside within 10-15 seconds. Which meant that if, no matter how dark it was or pissing down with rain, you could be inside somewhere warm and dry. Well, not warm, but dry. $39.99 from Millets, right, for a Flash 2 tent, automatic pop-up. When they first came out, they weren't that popular. And then I started telling all festival goers that I know about them and that, yeah. Believe it or not, right, I think I might have been partially responsible for becoming one of the best festival tents in the world, do you know what I mean? When I used to sleep with a knife. A very, very sharp knife, about yeah big, you know, like a paring knife that you use for, you know, for fruit. Yeah. Right, razor sharp, and that was the idea that if it happened, slice it down the side and roll out. You know what I mean? I had it all down pat. I used to roll against the tent when I was practicing. But I never cut it, I never had to. But the idea was, kept that under my mat where my head was, right? And if the tent ever went up, I could be out. And the safest thing is just slice it straight up the side and roll out. I've been in the tent before and I've heard someone go, come on, let's set fire to that. You know what I mean? It's like, no, you fucking more. When you're homeless, you have to think about things like, you should never have to think about how to do shit like that, man. You know what I mean? How to get out of somewhere if kids set on fire. Or, you know what I mean? Do you know, I still haven't sold the magazine yet. No?
Not yet.
Not yet. I've been here since, what, 8:30?
How many do you think you sell today?
At this rate, none. Please.
I think that printed matter sales are falling, but that doesn't mean it's into a downward spiral. That, you know, that it will continue to fall and fall and fall and fall and fall. I'd like to be more optimistic than that.
This used to be the biggest selling magazine in the country. Right? We used to sell over 50,000 magazines out of Leeds alone. You know how many we got delivered this morning? 2,900. Right, and that's for the whole of West Yorkshire. York, Leeds, Scarborough, all that Hull. You know what I mean? It all comes from Leeds. Right, and that's for all of us. The issue They do what they can, but they can't do much. They don't have the resource anymore. I mean, once upon a time, you used to have plenty of money, but that's long gone. Bad publicity, I suppose. You know what I mean? Bad management here and there.
We get people from all walks of life, and that's another thing that's very humbling about the job, is you realise that homelessness is not discriminatory. It can happen to anybody. We've got people on our books who have more than one degree. We've got people with no formal qualifications at all. We've got people who've been in care. We've got people who've left the forces. It's a really wide variety of people that come and need access to the service. But that situation that people can find themselves in can happen to anyone and everyone.
I've had years where I've, like 5-6 years where I've gone and done other things. But each time I've lost a job or been made homeless and that, I've always come back to it. It's been here it's like a safety net, I suppose, for people like myself. You know what I mean? Just in case. People don't realise what I say lately when I've been telling people, this time next week, you never know, it might be one of your kids that study are going hungry. You just don't know. Especially nowadays.
Times are difficult for everybody at the moment. It's, we're all under more pressure in everybody in everyday life with kind of changes to the way that society is structured and the way people view supporting others, charitable donations, etc., etc. But in terms of the people that I work with, both on the teams delivering the services and the vendors themselves, it sounds really crass and cliche to say, but it's an absolute inspiration, because every day something will happen that makes you go, wow, or look at that. That somebody's getting up and keeping going when times are really difficult for them, or something horrible will happen and they keep on keeping on, and they don't just curl up and say, make it all go away. It's just amazing.
I've been, other week it was cold and it was about 70-mile-an-hour winds and it was like below zero and it was raining. And within 30 seconds of being outside, I was soaked through to the bone. Even my underpants were sticking to me. You know what I mean? When you're that wet, everything's wet. And I had to stand around for 10 hours in that.
When you're working with people who don't have warm, secure, comfortable homes, it really makes you appreciate your warm, secure, comfortable home.
We're a target, you see, for people that are disgruntled or in a bad mood. You know what I mean? Pissed up and I'll take you out on that cunt over there. It's just the high visibility, you see. People say one look and no one's going to help them anywhere in the door. People tend not to help us. I get abuse, but not so much nowadays as what I used to get. People know me on here, they know my name, they know who I am, they know what I do. And it's not just, even total strangers come up to me and, you know what I mean, I've been told about you, you're people up and do, you know what I mean? So, last year, a lady came up to me, she bought a magazine off me. She gave me £20, told me to keep change. And she says, I've been sat watching you from McDonald's for the last hour, helping people up and down steps. She said, you haven't once asked anybody to buy a magazine that you've helped. I said, well, no, I don't. So if you're going to help someone, you've got to do it unconditional. Today has been really quiet compared to how it normally is. I mean, some days I can lift 100 pounds up and down there before dinner. People have come to expect it now. In fact, some people actually think that that's my job and it isn't. I don't ask people if they want to buy a magazine if I'm helping them, because then it's putting pressure on them to buy one, and that's not right. But it's not the people that I normally help that give me help, it's people that see me doing it. I could make more money on another pitch elsewhere, sell more magazines and that, but I know it sounds cheesy, but who'd help the people here that if I want, no vendor will do it. Other vendors will help, but if they're only going to get something for it, you know what I mean? But like I say, I've got to know people here now, and we've got used to me being here and used to helping them. And we'd help them, like I say, if I want you. It pleases me to help people, basically. It gives me, I don't know, it makes me feel better about myself, I suppose. It's nice to be nice. You know what I mean? It's easy to be nasty, but it's hard work. It's a lot easier to be nice.